Hi guys, welcome to today's session of the RJ Speaks channel. So I go by the name RJ and I'm honored to have you spend this time with me. So today I'm going to be discussing with you or giving an overview of my exam PE, aka Predictive Analytics exam administered by the SOA. My experience, I'm going to be sharing it with you. What study materials do you think is good? How much time do you need to prepare? What do you really need to know to pass? If this resonates with your reason for clicking on this video, then stay tuned as we talk and dive into the what to know about Predictive Analytics SOA exam. So stay tuned and let's do this briefly and quickly. Be right back. Okay, so what study material is good for me if I want to sit for the exam PE and pass? Then this is for you. I have two recommendations. I have coaching actuaries and ATEX, but wait to find out which one would be good for you. If you are just interested in knowing as much just to pass, I would strongly recommend coaching actuaries because of the size of the content. But if you want to know too much, not in the negative sense, it depends on what you want or what you're looking out for in the manual. If you just need to really understand too much and planning to take on further courses, I would also recommend the ATEX manual. This is not to say the coaching manual is scanty in understanding, but this is to say it's good. It's good enough for you to pass, even with a 10. It's good enough for you to pass with a 9, 8. I know people who use coaching actuaries and on their first attempt scored a 10. I know people who also use ATEX and on the first attempt scored a 10. So it's up to you. Do you have time to study? If you have just maybe 3 months, I'm strongly going to recommend coaching actuaries. But if you have the time to go through the manual also, because the ATEX manual, the ATEX learning material has a manual and has videos as well, but the coaching actuaries has videos alone. So with respect to time, okay, I am working, I don't have enough time to prepare, then the coaching actuaries will be very much good for you. But if I have enough time and I think I want to know too much, or I want to know sufficiently, I want to have sufficient understanding of the program or of the exam, then go for ATEC. And with respect to the prices, I would say it depends on what's in your pocket. So just go for what works for you. And on to the next. Let's do it. Okay, so on to the next of what to expect on the exam PA. This is not like the multiple choice exam kind of questions like you have to select through A, B, C, D kind of exam. So what I feel like it was much different to me because that was my first time I was taking a written exam. And with the multiple choice questions, you can get to practice on your own. But this time around it's written, so even if you are answering the questions, you're literally speaking to yourself. Like, okay, so what is a hyperparameter? Then you narrate everything to yourself. Why do you think this data needs to be cleaned? Da 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 da. Like to yourself. So I didn't see the need to study it alone. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but for my recommendation, I think it saves time if you study with other people. If you're efficiently studying people, I think 3 to 4 months should be good for you to pass really well. Yes, so I know people also who studied alone and still score strongly, like had strong scores or good scores. But I feel like if you don't have much time or if you still want to have an efficient way to do it, I strongly recommend you have group studies, share and get to know how other people's perspective on the same matter. Other than that, you get to the exam with all that you know, and you're only safe if all that you know is all you need to know. But until then, it's just recommended that you do the learning in group studies and make sure you are very active in these group studies. Participate efficiently for better understanding. If you did not understand a concept, bring it up and get the knowledge gap filled up. Yes, so that was something different I experienced, and it can really sometimes get boring because you're not working towards a certain goal kind of a thing. It's just like reading, going through SOA questions. But yeah, you have to face it. It's your own beat, so dance to it. Okay, So the next thing also is about how does the past question look like? Definitely, I've mentioned it already. More of written exam format. So get to go through the past questions. Like go through as many times as you can and make sure you understand it. Maybe I would recommend go through the past questions yourself and get to go through it with a friend or a colleague or a co-exam taker so that you get to appreciate different perspectives. And then also on the exam day, I think one big tip I can give you is it's better to overwrite than to underwrite. So for instance, you were asked about maybe let me see, let's say hyperparameter for instance. Instead of just going on to the definition, I would recommend that you could give instances where it's used and how it's applied rather than just keeping it brief, just over talk. Because as long as, yeah, I think so, as long as what is required is in your answer, I think you are safer rather than talking brief and keeping away what is required. I hope that makes like enough sense to you. So over talk as much as possible, but make sure you have a good typing speed to communicate and type what you are thinking, and that's very important. Work on your typing speed, work on your typing skills. And one thing also I would say, take notes during the exam, PA exam. Why do I say exam? PA exam. The PA exam, yeah, I think that should work. Yeah, it's one thing to keep in mind is the scores or marks allocated. So if I'm answering a question and it's just 1 mark, this is not to say be complacent on the exam, but if it's just 1 mark, make sure you're giving a 1 mark time to it. And if it's 4, you better start preaching a sermon. I can't even lie. Like if you see a question in the exam, on the exam, and it's 4 marks or even 5, you have to preach, you have to give benediction, you have to give a closing prayer. That is it for you. And I would appreciate if you keep this tip. If you find it too, a definition would work. I mean, but if it, that's not even to say be complacent once again, but if it's like a 4, a definition, an example, instances they are used, like impact, how, why, as I said, be ready to preach a full sermon, a full one, and make sure you collect your marks, every one of them. And one thing that can actually go against you in exam P is not talking too much is partial credits. The less efficient your explanation is, the more marks you lose and you end up scoring partial credits, which you don't want to or you're not ready for. So pick up every mark or score as much as you can so that you can come out with a pass. And that's what we're doing in this video, so you don't make such mistakes. All right, so also in allocating your effort or your energy, as I mentioned, make sure you are allocating the right time. And where should I focus my energy on? There are so many topics on the exam PA syllabus. I would say the biggest on the syllabus is the GLM portion. But why would you not know decision trees? Like I feel like that's a bonus topic. Like no matter what it, no matter how it's structured, sensitivity, specificity, oh my gosh, I mentioned that word rightly. That's lucky me. Anyway, so all this concept, I think you should have them on your fingertip. If decision tree come, calculate this, calculate that, you should be ready to sweep off those marks easily. But as long as your GLM is strong, you are halfway through, and gather the rest of the unsupervised learning like the others, but make sure your GLM is strong. That's one advice I received from a great mentor. GLM should be strong, but if your GLM is not almost 100% strong, make sure you can back up the marks and fetch up all the other marks from the decision trees, from the PCA, from the data exploration portion. Be ready to pick up all those scores. This is some few tip I can give you. If you have specific questions on the exam PA, I'm so ready to answer you in the comment section. By the way, I was happy. I mean, so right after the exam, right, you'd have to wait for almost almost 2 months, but I think for our time it started with 11. Is it no 8 weeks? 8 weeks for the results to be out, and I think they're trying this. They're trying this short exam waiting period, results waiting period. I don't know if it's gonna apply to you, but yes, as you wait, what can you do? As you wait for your results, I think you can just be positive. Pray if you can, which you must anyway. Yes, invest prayers, be positive, be ready to write again, and don't feel down. That's not the end of the world. Just for your information, I took PA firstly, and I passed. Did I say I passed? Oh, that's so much of a positive mindset. I scored a 5, and the next sitting I took the PA. That was when I scored. I scored the score. Yes. So, one of the mistakes I made on the 5 was I did not go through the SOA questions as much as I should have. But on the second attempt, I actually did it with other people, other friends, which was much helpful and more explorative. That's why I say sharing knowledge, exchanging knowledge is much preferred. About the exam fee, I feel like, yeah, you can do it. And study material all covered. I wish you all the best as you go take the exam P. Make sure you really understand this output from the hour, in as much as you not be coding, quote unquote, on the exam. It's required of you to understand the outputs that come, that are provided. So good typing speed, understand where to put in more effort, be very timely in answering your questions. Make sure you don't spend so much time on 1 mark, 2 mark questions and leave all the 5s and the 6 and the 9s. Don't do that. And I wish you all the best in your exam PE experience. I'm waiting for your results. Congratulations in advance. It's your girl RG. And if you have not subscribed, this is your time to do so. Hit on the subscription button and see you next time on my next exam, probably. Let's go. Bye.